couple of days ago, I made this video right here, the 7-year anniversary of Rap Devil and how it changed Eminem. Now, it's time to examine the other side of that coin. It's now been 7 years since the release of Eminem's response Killshot, and we're gonna take a look to see how it changed MGK. And man, did a lot of things happen that I did not think would happen. It quite literally feels like it just happened yesterday, and I think it's because we can still see the effects from that battle to this day. Killshot's initial release absolutely broke YouTube. If you were around during that time, you know that there were so many comments in the first hour on that video that it literally would not let you comment anymore. Killshot was #1 trending on YouTube for over 10 days in a row and garnered 38 million views in the first 24 hours it was published, making it the 12th most viewed video in the first 24 hours in YouTube history at the time. It was also the largest debut of a hip-hop song in the history of YouTube. It also charted at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and at the time of recording this, Killshot just crossed 500 million views, putting it in the top 1100 most viewed videos of all time on YouTube. In this video, I'm gonna focus solely on the effects it had on MGK, and if you guys want to see how it affected Eminem, well, you can go watch this video after you watch this one. But in order to accurately depict the outcome of this battle and see the timeline of effects that Killshot had on Sir Coulson, we have to go back and see how this all started. Before I dive deeper into the lore of Killshot versus Rap Devil, this video is already copyright claimed because of images that I'm using, so you already know how to do something dope for a sponsor. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to meet a gladiator? Watching fight and smashing head spinning tops like an agitator? Well, I got the game, let me show you just what this app is made of. No fabricator, I just watch the Achilles slash a hater. Build up your civilization and make your cash grow. Engage in battles and wrap them up with the lasso. Collect some heroes like Napoleon Bonaparte, Plato or Joan of Arc, rip them bones apart and pass go. Level up them heroes and be the best around. Strategize De Niro, and they'll be going down. The hero portal's waiting, go pull that 5-star. It's easy, fun, amazing, and don't have to try hard. Yo, shout out to my good friends over at Heroes of History for sponsoring this video. Guys, it's their first anniversary and they try to celebrate. They have lots of anniversary activities, promotions, and exclusive player favorite heroes returning for you guys. And they're giving you an increased chance in earning some 4- and 5-star heroes. I actually just won one the other day from one of these very events. Oda Nobunaga. Hope that's how you say that, but he's a 5-star. Now you do have to unlock the prosperity technology, which is at the very end of the Bronze Age. It's super easy to get to that pretty quick. But I'm telling you, the more you dive into this game, the more fun it is. I've been very addicted to it. I'm a big history buff, so I'm seeing all sorts of history characters that I've really enjoyed. I have Achilles. Dude's a beast. But right now, if you download the game using my link down there in the description, and obviously it's free, or scan this very large QR code, use the promo code 1YEARSTART, and you're going to get a piece of legendary antimatter, but you also get a pack of food and scrolls, which is very vital in this game. That's what you got to use to upgrade your hero. You need those. The promo code is only good for new players up until Halloween of this year, so make sure you do that. Support me by playing a free game. It's that easy. So go get some free stuff for the first year anniversary, baby. In 2012, MGK, then 22 years old, tweeted that Eminem's daughter Haley, then 16, was, quote, hot as f***. MGK got a ton of backlash over this tweet and was asked to remove this tweet by Eminem's management, even though Eminem states in this interview with Sway Calloway that he wasn't even aware of the tweet until a year and a half later.
Just for the record, the thing that was going on that he was saying about my daughter, I didn't even know about that until literally a year and a half later.
In the following years, MGK claims that he was banned by Eminem from going on to Shade 45, which was the radio station owned by Eminem, subsequently showing that Eminem was trying to halt MGK's career. In response, MGK did a number of things, the first of which was a radio freestyle that he did on Power 106 FM on May 16th, 2017. In this freestyle, he threw shots at Eminem over the alleged ban from Shade 45.
I'm my favorite rapper alive, since my favorite rapper banned me from Shade 45, I wonder.
Almost a year later, on March 1st, 2018, another shot was thrown on a featured verse he did with my personal favorite rapper of all time, Tech 9. In this song, MGK has a few more jabs at Eminem, including a line about needing a doctor, and not the one from Compton, referencing Dr. Dre, and also the infamous "you just rap, you're not God's" line. As a result, on August 31st, 2018, Eminem responded to the multiple callouts on his song Not Alike from his surprise album Kamikaze. MGK then responded to Eminem's shots on Not Alike just a few days later on September 3rd with the infamous Rap Devil. 11 days later, on September 14th, 2018, Eminem then responded with Killshot. So again, how did this directly affect MGK? Well, honestly, it wasn't looking so hot at first. In the following days after Killshot, MGK was directly dealing with the extreme backlash of the battle, and not in a very good way. On September 20th, 2018, MGK was a guest on The Breakfast Club, where he spoke about the beef with Eminem and promoted his new upcoming EP, Binge, that would release the following day. We'll get to that in a minute. During this interview, MGK was visibly frustrated with the responses over the beef and had several moments where he straight up looked like an Most notably when he made fun of Eminem for a stutter during the Sway Calloway interview that didn't even happen, and then MGK proceeding to stutter more than 60 times throughout the entire interview.
He said he wants you to shut the fuck up.
I wish he would shut the fuck up. You know what else? No, quote him correct. You're talking about from the interview?
Yes.
Quote him correctly.
I don't remember.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Because MGK clearly has never stuttered before.
Was the EP plan? I replied to his shot. He gave me a shot on comment. I woke up to that. No, he's a recluse. So we didn't speak. That is as man to man as it gets. All the headline said was, I guess it was a silly comment. It's some. I get it if it was like, but that's until
I made a video about that very specific interview at the time. If you guys want to go check that out to get some further information about why it was so rough. It's also arguably one of the funniest videos I've ever made. But for casual fans, or even fans that were kind of on the fence about the entire situation like I was, this interview was absolutely the tipping point. His true personality really shined through and made me not like him as a person at the time. There was even a segment where MGK spoke about Killshot in which he said that he had a song ready in response, but once he heard Killshot, he felt like it didn't warrant a response at all.
Killshot was a leg shot. I had a clip ready. I heard Killshot and I put that back in the holster.
This is especially upsetting knowing about the monstrosity that was coming with Binge, but again, we'll get to that in just a second. During this time, it was also revealed that MGK staged this very photo where he asked the entire crowd to flip off the camera, turned around and secretly unveiled the Killshot shirt, not letting the crowd in on what he was doing. Furthermore, the very next day, my stance on MGK would get way worse with the release of Binge. Due to the high traffic that his name now had in the Google searches, Rap Devil and Killshot both were the top 2 highest Google searched phrases of September 2018, by the way. MGK had the bright idea to capitalize off of this traffic by releasing Binge on September 20th, 2018, which I personally feel like is one of the worst projects I have ever heard from any notable artist, and this was extremely disheartening. As someone who was well aware of MGK at the time and had been for many years, I knew that this guy could rap very well. Even Rap Devil showed several flashes that MGK could absolutely hold his own in rap. But if you listen to Binge, this is absolutely not the case. Binge was a 9-track EP that was released 1 week after Killshot, and it was also very evident that every new song on this EP was made during that time. It was absolutely clear that MGK was trying to profit from the situation, which again frustrates me due to him saying that he had this second disc ready, but didn't release it, even though he clearly knew it would get numbers for his EP. I personally don't believe that the track even exists, but that's besides the point. I have an entire video explaining why that EP was so bad that you can check out up at the top right here, but just know that it's not just me. Even 7 years later, it still only has a 35% approval rating from users on Google. Even with all eyes on MGK, the EP only sold 21,000 copies first week, some reports even being as low as 15,000. This was a major hit and an extreme drop-off in numbers from his previous project, Bloom, that dropped in 2017, which had 57,000 first week sales. A few months would go by and very little was mentioned about this beef anymore, and MGK remained relatively quiet whilst working on his new and upcoming project, Hotel Diablo, which would release on July 5th, 2019 to generally positive reviews, yet low album sales. At just 39,000 first week sales for a full-length project, it seemed as if MGK could not recapture the numbers he was hitting before the beef with Eminem. Personally, I think Hotel Diablo is MGK's best body of work in his discography, and I genuinely enjoy several tracks from this album. But obviously, there were still some long-lasting effects from this beef. But this would be the turning point. When it seemed like he was trending in a downward direction in the rap industry, MGK did the smartest thing that he could have done. He quit rap. Kinda. It was during this Hotel Diablo release that we could see several flashes of MGK incorporating a new punk rock / pop rock sound into his music. More specifically with the song I Think I'm Okay, which became the breakout song of the album. This was purely a pop punk rock song that got more than double the streams of any other song on Hotel Diablo. Keep this in mind for later. This experimentation continued on moving into 2020 with his collections of songs released on YouTube under the lockdown sessions. MGK was still rapping during a few of these songs, ultimately releasing one of my favorite rap tracks by him with Pretty Toxic Revolver, but this is also where he took that experimentation of this pop punk rock sound even further by doing a cover of Paramore's Misery Business amongst a collection of other covers of popular punk rock songs. While this was met with mixed reviews, I personally feel like this is where the full transition began to occur. Realizing the success of this untapped market, MGK began releasing original pop punk rock sounding songs that would eventually land on an upcoming album, the first of which being Bloody Valentine. Starring Megan Fox as the main character, this video would get over 110 million views, making it MGK's most viewed video since I Think I'm Okay, which was the pop punk rock sounding song from Hotel Diablo, which had 105 million views. The last time he got any success even close to the numbers before this You guessed it, Rap Devil. So with that in mind, on September 25th, 2020, just over 2 years after dropping Rap Devil and dissing Eminem, MGK decided to put rap on the back burner for a little bit and switch genres, switch his look, and switch his style with his pop-punk rock album, Tickets to My Downfall. And this did nothing short but absolutely revitalize and skyrocket his career out of nowhere. Tickets to My Downfall became MGK's highest selling album ever, getting 126,000 first week album sales. It was his first ever album to top the Billboard charts at #1, and it was his first album to ever be certified platinum. It became the 5th longest charting album on Billboard's Top Rock Albums history after spending 13 weeks in the #1 spot. Not to mention, the Tickets to My Downfall tour had several sold out shows. And what's that old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nearly 2 years after releasing his first album under this pop-punk rock sound, Tickets to My Downfall, MGK would then release mainstream Sellout, again under the same genre, getting 93,000 first week sales, becoming his second album to top the Billboard charts at #1. What's even crazier is that on this tour, he nearly sold 500,000 tickets, garnering over $33 million in ticket sales, ending his tour in Cleveland by selling out First Energy Stadium, where the Browns play. That arena can seat over 42,000 concert goers once you take away the seats that are blocked from view from the stage that they can't sell. That show alone garnered over $3 million in ticket sales. That is a lot. Judging by the streams and music video views with this album, it's certainly doing well, but not nearly doing the numbers of his previous album. But as for now, the streams and music video views are comparable to his rap music numbers before the transition. The main breakout song of this album being Emo Girl with Willow Smith, and mostly because of the memes.
Emo, 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 emo.
Also, it's worth to note, drama continued to follow him even though he was in a different genre of music. He's already gotten into beefs and disrespected Corey Taylor, who is the lead singer of Slipknot, arguably the greatest heavy metal band to ever exist.
Hey, you want to know what I'm really happy that I'm not doing? Being 50 years old, wearing a fucking weird mask on a fucking stage, talking shit. So anyway, what's everyone's favorite candy? Reese's Pieces?
Despite the hiccup, MGK went on to complete a very successful tour at the end of 2022. Again, selling out the majority of his dates and ending on that massive Cleveland show. He even put out several music videos during the tour and a deluxe version of the album. The tour and 2022 closed on a very high note for MGK, but rolling around into 2023 and the earlier months of the year, MGK did something that definitely took me off guard. He dropped a rap cypher, and it was really good. A lot of people, myself included, were convinced that he had left rap music and went to the pop-punk genre and was there to stay. But seemingly in response to that widespread belief, MGK would go on to release 3 more rap tracks after this cypher, one of which rapping on Renegade. Yes, the Eminem and Jay-Z song Renegade. I personally would have loved to have seen this series continue throughout the year, welcoming different guests, rapping on different beats, because it reminded me of the earlier rap days from MGK's career that I actually liked. And while the views weren't doing as well as the pop rock stuff that he was doing, the comments were overwhelmingly very positive, which for me just shows that a lot of the hate he was initially getting from this beef was because of the rap music from Binge. But just when it seemed like he was dipping his toes back into the rap genre, we get this. A lo-fi album. I don't know who's more confused, me or MGK, but I know we both are. Unfortunately, as 2023 came to a close and 2024 reared its head, MGK seemingly would begin to spiral downward. Tragically, his girlfriend Megan Fox would miscarry their child in November of 2023, and sometime between then and February of 2024, MGK would cover up his entire upper torso with blacked out ink. He would rap about both of these situations in his song called Don't Let Me Go that dropped in the middle of February 2024, which I think is one of his best songs, honestly. But for that 3 to 4 month span, he was in a very, very dark place and did a lot of spiritual endeavors. Towards the end of March, he would end up dropping an EP with Trippie Redd called Genre Sad Boy, and I wasn't a big fan of this. It's a lot of sad rap. I'm not the biggest fan of Trippie Redd anyway, but I didn't care too much for MGK's parts on this as well. Currently has a 60% approval rating on Google, so that's kind of a shared sentiment for a lot of people. But in the middle of the year, we would see yet another genre shift with MGK doing his collaboration with Jelly Roll on Lonely Road. This samples John Denver's popular song Country Roads, and man, this thing was everywhere. Also, shout out to my boy Jelly Roll. We got a song together. He doesn't really rap anymore, but it's a rap song. Anyway, MGK would then roll with this country sounding song by doing another cover with Teddy Swims and also Lainey Wilson doing those live, both very predominant artists in the country genre. He would even go on to perform this on Jimmy Fallon with Jelly Roll and Travis Barker. He would also continue on this remix cover sampling idea that he has by doing cover songs of Zach Bryan's Son to Me, Juice WRLD's Empty Out Your Pockets, Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Ryan Adams' Come Pick Me Up, Bye 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 Freestyle by NSYNC, and Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. In August of 2024, MGK would release a music video for El Pistolero, which was an extra rap track from Hotel Diablo. There was also a lot of other Hotel Diablo snippets and live songs that were released on his YouTube channel. This one specifically got a lot of buzz because he rapped really fast on it, and it is very lyrical miracle rap. But it was a stark reminder that MGK did have this at some point in his bag, but the rap craze was pretty short-lived as he would continue to go back to the covers and more of the pop-punk, pop-rock style of music. Unfortunately, tragedy would strike again in MGK's life as one of his friends, Dingo, passed away at the end of February in 2025. He would then release a memorial song called Your Name Forever in March of the same year, and in August of this year, just a couple of months ago, he would release another solo album called Lost Americana, the first solo album since Mainstream Sellout in 2022. The album would debut at 63,000 first week sales, falling short of Mainstream Sellout and Tickets to My Downfall. It would debut at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 200, and this was much less of a punk rock sounding album than the previous two, but it was more so a pop rock sound. Definitely not near as on the nose with the punk sound as the previous two albums. There's lots of ballads and lots of MGK singing and very little rap. In fact, the only songs that really rap on this are some of the least streamed songs on this album. And the breakout single from this track being Cliche, obviously a more punk rock sounding song, which has quadrupled the streams of any other song on the album. There's also little other tidbits in his life that happened. He and his girlfriend Megan Fox split up in November of 2024, and they actually recently welcomed a child earlier in this year. But needless to say, I think it's very evident that MGK has been struggling with complacency lately, switching from the rap genre to the punk rock to the country, then back to rap, now pop rock. But I do think the strictly rap days are way long gone. Now, whether this is from the effects of Eminem or simply because his music is doing well in other genres, so he decided to stick to that and kind of leave rap behind, there's arguments for both sides. But despite all of the things that have happened, it's very clear that one thing is for certain. The exact thing that Eminem did not want to happen, happened.
Now I'm in this fucking weird thing because I'm like, I gotta answer this motherfucker. And every time I do that, it makes that person as irrelevant as people say I am in hip hop. Yeah. I make them bigger by getting into this thing where I'm like, I want to destroy him, but I also don't want to make him bigger.
But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am an artist myself. You guys can see that on the screen. Feel free to take a listen to some of my music if you want to. It helps me out a ton. You might like some stuff. You might hate it, actually. Who cares? Give it a shot if you want to. Shout out to everybody on the screen. These are my Patreon members. They got this video early and it's edited without any sponsors. I really appreciate you guys, and they get shout outs at the end of every single video just like this as well. Stay tuned. I am currently working on Kendrick versus Drake 1 year later with Not Like Us and Family Matters and all those diss tracks. So be prepared for that in the near future. And thank you guys so much for watching. This is my most recent song if you want to check it out. Peace out. What they talking about? What they talking about? What they talking about? They talking about me. They talking about me. Tell me again about how I fell off. Tell me again about how I need to hang it up.